Surprise in Arizona. Hope you've all had a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 2046, RootsTech Day 3 recap. Sorry, I forgot what day I was on. So today I got to see a little bit of a video. I had a kind of a busy day. Let's see, we started off the day normally. I got to meet a really cool person today. My friend Casey introduced me to this woman and said that he feels that we would be a good fit. We have a lot in common. So we finally got our time schedules done, and we got on together and had an amazing time getting to know each other. So much in common. She lost her husband almost 7 years ago. It's been almost 7.5 years since Brad passed. And so we had a lot of totally different forms of passing. But we just had this great conversation and connection, and we had so much in common. I just wanted to keep talking all day. It's not often I get to meet somebody like that. And we just wanted to keep talking, but we had other things to go and do. So, but I will tell you this, that introduction was one of the best introductions. And I felt like I had met my best friend. It was that sort of a conversation, which is very rare to find sometimes. But after that, we went our separate ways. I got onto RootsTech. I thought, I'm going to take a few minutes, do a RootsTech class. And there was one and I got my times all screwed up. And so when I got in there, I caught the last 30 minutes of one on AI and where artificial intelligence is going with genealogy and that sort of thing. And I'm just sitting there going, I could not believe what's coming up. They say that where did I put my notes? Where's my notes? No, those aren't my notes. I don't know where I put my notes from that. Nope, not even there. But they were talking about the different ways that AI is going to be able to be used with genealogy and how it can be used now. Some of the ways it can be used now, I'm already using it. It's like putting a picture in there and saying a picture of script in there and saying, please transcribe this, or translate and transcribe. And so turning it from handwriting into text. Even some things that are a little fuzzy, like little pictures fuzzy where it's actually typewritten and it's a little hard to read the letters. I've put it in there just to see what would happen. It did an okay job. Still not there yet. And of course, they were talking about the fact that AI is not there to replace research because we're still going to have to check the facts. You can actually get it to go and do a whole bunch of research, but then you also got to tell it to provide its sources so you can go and verify. And I was just like, well, that's interesting. Then they talked about how there's some artificial intelligence program that is coming out. And he was talking about the guy was talking very knowledgeable and was talking about the cost of, he says, you can get started on a lot of these artificial intelligence programs for free. Some of them have a small monthly fee that you pay. He says, but there's one that's coming, which is, he said it's going to be expensive. They're looking at $20,000 a month. Yeah, $20,000 a month for this AI program for genealogy. And I'm just sort of like, what the heck does a $20,000 program? But basically, it is going to be like having a PhD researcher doing your research for you. And I'm just sort of like, I still want to check the facts. I mean, if I'm paying $20,000 a month, this thing better be spot on with its research. Like, if I go and check the facts, they better be 100% if I'm going to be forking out $20,000 a month. And I thought but they said it was going to be literally like having a PhD doing your research for you. And I'm just sort of like, I didn't know there was a doctorate in genealogy. But I was just sort of like, mind blowing. But they say it's coming. And so, yeah, I was kind of intrigued by that. And then I looked at the next time slot, which was meant to be, was it 3:30, I think it was meant to be. And so I thought, okay, I can get some stuff done. So I did some research, did some of my own genealogy research without the help of ChatGPT. And I'm like thinking, kind of hungry, and realized I hadn't had lunch. And so I thought, let's play the game with ChatGPT. And with ChatGPT, what I do every now and again is I go into my pantry, I write out a list of stuff that I have in my pantry and in my freezer and in my refrigerator and in my spice cabinet. And then I go into ChatGPT and say, okay, I have the following items. Here are the different cooking methods I have, like the Instapot, the Vitamix, the air fryer and the oven and the stove and the gas stovetop. Here's my cooking modalities. Oh, and I have a refrigerator and a freezer. And here are the food items that I have. What can I create with these? And it comes up with all these different, like the first recipe it came up with, it tried to put every ingredient, and then I was like, no. I said, don't use all the ingredients in one recipe. I want it split out across several recipes. And so it came back and I said, I want snacks, I want desserts, I want brunch, and I want lunch and dinner. And so it came back with all these different recipes. Do they work or not? I don't know. But the last time I tried them, it was so much fun. One of my favorite ones was the pumpkin smoothie. And you put in a can of puree pumpkin, like the 15-ounce can of puree pumpkin. No, hang on. Quarter of a can of puree pumpkin. You put in a can of evaporated milk. What else was in there? Some nutmeg, some cinnamon, or if you had the pumpkin spice, throw that in there instead. But protein powder. And what else was in there? I think that was it. And you just blend it all together. I'm putting some heavy whipping cream too. It made it a little thicker. It was really good. That was one that I got off the ChatGPT, and I sort of it said, oh, you can use these ingredients to make this. And I'm like, well, can I have a recipe? That was the first time I used it. So this time I learned that I've got to say, don't use all the ingredients in one recipe. I want several recipes broken up using some of the ingredients that it listed. And I want the recipes for them, not just put these foods together. So it came up with some fun stuff. And but I looked at a lot of it had like cooked quinoa, and I thought, better go cook some quinoa. So we've cooked the quinoa, but we've done nothing else since. So then I get on at 3:30 to look at the 3:30 schedule to go onto one of them, and I can't remember when I was going in for, but I clicked in there and went in there, and it's a blank screen, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So I go out and I thought, let me try another one, another live one, and it was blank as well. And then I looked up in the chat, and apparently they were having technical difficulties with all of the live sessions, but they have recorded them. They just couldn't stream. They couldn't stream them live, but they said that we are recording them, and we will post the recordings. I think it's like 8 o'clock tonight. They're going to be my time. This is all my time. They'll be posting the recordings of those, so I don't miss it. I just don't get to see it live, which is kind of cool. And then I discovered, I don't know why I didn't look before, but for some reason I just scrolled down to see what the description was for the programs, that sort of stuff. And there's all the little download files. Some of them are the whole deck slide. Some of them are the notes so that you can take notes with them and that sort of stuff. And so I've been busy now going through that, downloading all of the notes from the different presentations that I've already seen, because some of them I've gone and seen and watched on video, or gotten caught up and watched part of it and then had to go do something else. I'm trying to keep things down. But it turned out being a really cool day, and I did get some stuff done. I got some research done, which was awesome. I got some stuff back up to sell. I've got years ago for Brad's birthday, I bought him a full size replica of a USC Trojans football helmet, and I thought, I'm not taking that to New Zealand with me. I love my husband. I loved his Trojans. I watched their games with him and cheered them on and all that sort of stuff. I thought, but I'm not taking a football helmet to New Zealand with me. I've got the little one that's about this big, that sits on the desk, and it's got a slot for business cards and a slot for pens. So I'm taking that one with me. I'm just not taking the full size one. So I put that up today, and I put up his golf clubs today as well. So I thought I need to start getting more stuff up there, because it's getting close on time. And then a friend of mine who I have never met in person, but we have spoken a lot over the phone, as I've been helping her through some stuff she's been going through, is coming down in April, and we're going to get to meet in person. I'm like super excited, super excited. And so they said, well, come and visit you. And I'm like, oh crap. My house has stuff. I mean, just look behind. I mean, yeah, that's Zeffie's stuff over there. That's Zeffie's stuff. My house has stuff everywhere as I'm busy sorting through it, and I've got all these different piles everywhere. So, and I'm like, okay, my target date to get this done by was the middle of April. And it was to get it done by the middle of April. Now I've got to have it done by the beginning of April. So I've now really got to put the things on and start getting in there and getting stuff out. And I think it's about time to do a run to the Goodwill store. I've got a bit of stuff to go to there, and so we're going to be doing a run to that. And but yeah, that's basically our day to day. So I didn't get to see a lot of RootsTech 3, but I did get to see that last portion of the AI stuff and where it's going and what it's going to be able to do, what it's current. And he was even talking about the current AI programs that are out there and how you can utilize them now to help with your research, including one called Notebook LM, I think it is. I think it's Notebook LM. And you can put your notes and stuff in there, but you have to watch the copyrights on things. And I'm just like, but it's your own personal notes. And apparently you can share stuff on the Notes LM. So you do have to watch the copyright thing because you can't hand across stuff apparently that has copyrights on it. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then somebody asked a very good question. I thought this question was brilliant because he kept talking about having to cite your sources and you can record it here and you can note it here and da, 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 da. Somebody says, well, what happens if you have ChatGPT do the research for you? How do you cite the sources? He said, you have to get ChatGPT to provide the sources so you can go back, check the sources, and then do the correct citation for the information that you've gotten, that you've found. And I'm just sort of like, okay, that kind of cuts down work a little bit. Yeah, because I know I need to do all my sourcing and all that, and I do at most of the time, but there's times I'm just like, I can't be bothered about writing another citation. You're on like your 5th record, and it's sort of like, oh, I've got to write another citation. And sometimes you actually got to type it out, and other times it's sort of like Ancestry will do it for you because it's already there, or if you're on familysearch.org, it's already there. If you attach the record to the file, it attaches the sources as well. And then on some things, if you like on in newspapers.com, if you print a PDF, it will automatically print the source information as well. It even has one of the options on, what was it? One of the options for downloading the image or the clipping that you've made, it says, do you want the source citation included? And I'm always like, yeah. So there's some places where it can do it automatically and other places where you actually have to manually do that, because I was in Ancestry the other day and I had these newspaper articles from past papers. Yeah, the New Zealand one. And I was like, oh, Ancestry doesn't have access to that file. I have to manually enter the source. And I was like, oh, jeepers, here we go. But I fudged my way through it. The information's in there. The website's there. You can, and there's, they said, permanent link for this article. I'm like, thank you very much. Paste that, paste it into the website area field over here. Put the information in there of what the publication is, when it was published, blah, 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 blah. Done. I mean, they give you all the fields. You just go and fill the fields in. That makes it so much easier than having to sit down and go, okay, I now have to actually physically write out or type out a citation. So some websites make it easier for you. Some it's a little more difficult and some it's very tricky. But then I do have my Evidence Explained book, which covers like literally everything. But if you are having ChatGPT write stuff for you that includes facts, you need to tell ChatGPT to put the sources in there as well, and then you have to go verify the sources. And the guy doing the presentation, he says at the beginning, he said it was just a thing of slop. He called it slop at one point. And he admitted, that sometimes we're skating across the top of the slop. And I thought that was kind of an interesting term. But he says, it's getting better and better at being more accurate with information and stuff. But he says you still got to check your sources. So no matter what happens with AI, we still have to check our sources and make sure that everything's there. So that was my big takeaway today from what I got to see. So when I found out I couldn't watch anything at 3:30 because all of the ones I wanted to watch live, I couldn't watch live. The one I am looking forward to tonight, though, which will be starting shortly. When is it? It's that Olympic couple. Oh, what was the name of that Olympic couple? I'm trying to find them. March 8th. Today's March 8th, yes. There's this Olympic couple. Oh, where'd they go? Have they moved their times again? They've moved the times again. Oh, I might have to watch the recording of that one because the time's, oh, hang on, maybe it's this time slot here. Yes. So they're doing we have coming on at 8 o'clock tonight. I did have the right time, yes. They're going to be having a presentation by Tara Davis Woodhill and Hunter Woodhill. And so I'm just, I'm really excited to be able to see that one. So I'm looking forward to that one. And the other ones I've all got on my schedule. I put them onto the schedule because I was like, yeah, I want to see that one about this Olympic couple and hear their story. And the cool part about hearing their stories is they also talk about their history, their background, where they came from. And that's with all of the featured speakers when they come on. It doesn't matter if they are some entertainer, if they're some singer, actor, politician, or whatever, you get to, or your athlete, you get to not only see them, but these are people who are interested in their backgrounds and their history, and they know the importance of telling their story, and they get to come out and tell their story. And some of them will talk about their genealogy background, their families as far as their ancestors go as well. Like they'll tell some interesting stories about that and how they found out about those stories as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing the Woodhills tonight at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to go have some dinner now so that I'm ready to sit down and watch them at 8 o'clock. And with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. And don't forget, for those here in America, daylight savings starts tonight, unless you're in Arizona or Hawaii who do not observe daylight saving, which means that for those in Arizona, you're now going to be on Pacific time for the next 8 months. So with that, I just got used to having things at certain times. It's taken me 4 months to get myself together and get myself used to things at a certain time. And all of a sudden, I'm back to being on Pacific time again. So yeah, so we'll see you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Hey, Konera.